Now, I've been wondering how I'm going to pick one, and I'd set myself this task today. That is the title of this video after all. My 6 favourite pedals. What if I could only keep one? Hey guys, James here. Thank you for coming to watch. I just want to apologise. I haven't had a lot of content come out on the channel recently, and if you don't follow my community posts, it's because I've had a lot of other stuff to do. Unfortunately, I still managed to play the guitar pretty much every day and come up with ideas for videos. I just haven't had time to hit the record button, but now I have, so let's get on with it. Today we are talking about 6 probably of my favourite pedals. In fact, when it comes to overdrive and fuzz, these are probably the 6 I would go to before any other. Now, that's probably saying something considering the amount of pedals I've been through for the last 18 months or so, trying to figure out exactly what it is I'm looking for and what sort of sound I want. If you've been following along, you know I've come up with favourites from time to time, and sometimes they change, sometimes they stay on the board for a long time. So today we're going to go through 6 of my favourite. I'm not including any delay, reverb type pedals here. Got great reverb on this amp, and by the way, I'm using the Rift Aynsley Lister amp, which is my go-to amp at the moment. Absolutely loving everything about it, and I'm still planning to make a review of that amp as soon as I have the time. So let's dive straight in. Pedal number 1. Now this isn't going to be in any particular order, but apart from this first pedal, which I haven't taken off my practice board for weeks and weeks, and ultimately the one thing I love about this pedal is that you press a button, you don't turn any knobs, and it's just ready to go. Now this is the Lovepedal Tchula, and this is Josh Smith's favourite pedal, and what they've done here is the left hand side, what is the favourite position of his that was on the original Church of Tone, I want to say, pedal, which I can't get hold of that pedal, unfortunately. I'd love to. In fact, even the Tchula's getting harder to come by, so if you like this pedal, I'd go and find one. So basically, his original favourite setting on that pedal, they just turned that into a one-off setting with this button. Now, once you've got this one on, you can actually turn on the right-hand side and fiddle with a knob there that starts at the same point as the left-hand side and goes upwards. But anyway, that's by the by, because I pretty much only use the left-hand side. Now, what do I love about this pedal before you hear it? There's nothing to think about. It's just on, and it's always seems to be with every guitar I've tried. I actually was going to record this on every guitar I've got, but this video would be way too long if I did that. So I picked the Les Paul because I wanted to show you all these pedals actually are really great with their articulation, their dynamics, and the compression isn't over the top, and it allows the instruments to come to the forefront. So let's hear the Tchula and see what we think. Can't seem to get enough of this pedal at the moment, and even just listening back to that recording. By the way, if you hear a buzzing in the background, that's to do with the fact a lot of my sound equipment interacts with some lights I've got on downstairs, but those lights just need to be on at the moment. There's some builders working down there, so I'm sorry about that. This pedal, just there's no frequency that doesn't sound great in this setting that they picked to put on this pedal, and it just feels great under the fingertips. It gives to a certain extent, but then it sort of bounces back on you, and it doesn't over compress. You can really play around with your guitar's volume, and you're not going to just sort of become either too muddy or too sort of 80s rock sounding. It doesn't do that massive sustained thing. It allows you to play with a sort of glassy edge of breakup if you want to. It allows you to hit a bit harder and go for it and get those real double stop sounds that we love. So yeah, if I had to grab a pedal to go out and I didn't have time to think about it, I would just grab this pedal. I'd get to wherever I was playing, turn it on, and not have to think about the pedals at all, which is a great thing. Okay, number 2. Now this is probably the most mentioned pedal on this channel. This is my favorite fuzz pedal, and possibly my favorite pedal of all. We're going to get to that at the end of the video. I'm going to pick one pedal. I haven't got there yet. This is the Austin Pride by DanDrive. I mention this in almost every video, and if you're not on the waiting list with him, you really should try to get on it. You've got to send him a message on Instagram and he'll get back to you. It's probably an 18-month or 2-year waiting list now. Yeah, if you're a vintage fuzz person, this has just got everything. You can change each of the 2 transistors. You can change from germanium to silicon, or vice versa. It's got the best cleanup knob. It just allows you to dial in the amount of fuzz that you want. Phenomenal. Let's hear it, and then we'll chat a bit more about it. It's a bit of a chameleon, this pedal. It can pretty much do what an overdrive does, and then if you just get to the last couple of notches on your guitar's volume, depending on how you set the pedal, bam, it's fuzz. It's really, really great fuzz, and it sounds fantastic. If I could only take one pedal that needed to do more than one thing for different tracks, maybe a bit more overdrivey in one and a bit more fuzzy in other, or really just edge of breakup in another, this pedal really gives you all those options. And to be honest, I might get on the waiting list to get a second one and a third one. So maybe one day I can give away the third one and I can keep the second one as a backup, because if this ever breaks, I'll be really, really sad. So yeah, if you think that's a good idea, let me know down in the comments. Talking of giving away stuff, let's just break this up for a second. I'm still giving away the Ceriatone HorseBreaker when I hit 3,500 subs. We're getting there quite quickly now. We're at 3,200 odd. It's only been, I don't know, 6 weeks since we were at 2,500, something like that. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel publicly. If you don't know what that means, ask me down in the comments and comment on a video. And then you'll go in the hat and I'll pick out a name and send it anywhere in the world. Okay, let's go on to the next pedal. Now, the next pedal has been a recent favorite of mine on the channel. I originally had the Vemuram Jan Ray, which, if this was the 7 or 8 favorite pedals, would be on the list. But when I got the Shanks, it just does something that blows me away. Let's hear it first, then we'll talk about it. Just listening back to that once again, I've got to apologise for that buzzing noise. Unfortunately, it wasn't as loud as that in the room when I was playing, actually, so the mics have really picked up on that today. I'll try and fix that for next time. Now, this pedal is just phenomenal. If I was doing an objective list of what I think are the best overdrive pedals as opposed to what are my favourite, this may well probably be number one, especially for professional musicians, because I just think it's a box of tools, this pedal. It's really made by a professional for professionals. Not to say we can't all enjoy it, and I do. It has one of the most musical sounds, if that makes sense. And I also just rely on, I know that whatever sort of dynamics I want to hit, whether it's edge of breakup, pass breakup, or clean, without changing any settings, I can do that with my hands using this pedal. It's so sensitive in a great way. Doesn't get in your way. It's just possibly the best overdrive pedal that I've ever come across. Doesn't mean it would be my number one favorite. It may well be, but there's other things that go into that. But if we're not being romantic and if we're trying to be objective, this is just an incredible pedal. And if you're a session musician or touring musician, or you just want to try the best of the best, I think this is one that really you need to have. Phenomenal. Okay, the next pedal is another favorite on this channel, favorite of mine, especially one half of it. So this is a two-sided pedal. This is the Browne amplification protein pedal, and this left-hand side, which is my favorite half, is a blues breaker type, and the right-hand side is a Noble's ODR1, which is also what the Shanks was sort of based on. But in this particular case, I'm just talking about the left-hand side. Again, let's hear that and come back. The sounds that come out of this half of the protein, it's just dripping in lovely transparent tone. And if you're looking for a really subtle pedal that you could just keep on all the time and interact so well with other pedals, then the blue half of the protein would definitely give you that. I mean, if I could advise Browne amplification on their next step with this pedal, let us have the blue half by itself. I know it interacts really well with the green side. The green side is also really good. But a lot of people, including me, would love to just have this pedal on its own, and I would buy this blue side of the pedal individually as well as keeping this double pedal. So, Mr. Browne amplification, if you're watching, then please, I'd love that. But it's not as wow as the first three pedals in many ways, because it's more subtle, but it's such a sweet sound. And it does just improve. I've plugged it in with so many different amps and used every different guitar, and in every case, it's made the sound just absolutely beautiful. That's the right word for it. That's what I find with this sort of tone. It's really sweet, transparent. It really doesn't get too dirty. It doesn't get too overdriven. Yeah. If you haven't tried any blues breakers, I recommend giving it a try. Okay, the next pedal actually goes really well with this one, but that's a whole other video I did a long time ago. The next pedal it's a bit of an oddball, really. It's the Broadcast AP, the Hudson Broadcast. I could well be talking about the original Hudson Broadcast as well. They're both fantastic. I just really like the AP. Let's hear it. We'll talk about it. You know, this is a really special pedal. I guess Ariel Posen wouldn't put his name to it otherwise. A couple of things about it are just really, really great. Doesn't matter what I do with the volume on my guitar, turning it down quite a lot, the presence and liveliness of the pedal still stays, and it still has all its great character. And it's quite different from all the other pedals on here. I can't quite quantify it, but there's just something different about playing it. As a different feeling, and it inspires you in different ways. You know, I was playing something here with my fingers. It was a little bit different than the other stuff I was playing today. Really, really enjoyed it. It's so dynamic, and yet it doesn't quite respond the same way as other pedals, but yeah, I've done a couple of videos about it. Maybe I'll link one up here. You can go and watch that. It's one of those I think would suit a lot of professional musicians, in the sense that they could use this pedal to play sort of more gentle, alternative-y sounding stuff, and it can really rock pretty hard too when you really turn it up. I mean, it's sort of based on old console equipment, and when you would go a bit too hard on it, it would sort of break up and fuzz in an unusual way, and that's what they've tried to capture here, and I think they've probably done a good job. I really enjoy it. It's one of those that on a bigger board will always be there, and it's got a lot of different uses really, but it doesn't fall into the neat categories that some of the other pedals do, so it's harder to explain. Okay, the last pedal on here is a bit of an oddball one in some ways. I only say that because I'm playing a Les Paul right now, and this is a pedal I really, really think about Strats with, but I just wanted to stick with the same guitar so you get the same sort of bass idea of what's going on. This pedal, the Blues Power, is by Kingtone, and it's just one of these exceptional pedals that does what it wants to do so well. If you're trying to get an SRV tone and you've not got as close as you want to before, you probably need this pedal. It does a lot of things, but the SRV tone, that broken up Fender, big, edging on Dumbly sound, is just amazing, and it always inspires me to play in a different way than other pedals do. There's so many things you can do with this pedal, and again, I've made videos about it before. I couldn't not include it because although I compare it to the Vemuram Jan Ray in what they can do and how they sound, something I like about the Blues Power, some sort of character it's got that just sometimes it depends what mood I'm in. But between the Blues Power and the Jam Ray, just phenomenal pedals, and I picked the Blues Power here today. So let's hear it, and we'll see what we think. Yeah, I mean, my playing with that pedal is perhaps not the most composed or thoughtful, but it's just one of those really visceral feelings. This pedal, it's got so much oomph to it, so it's one of those that will really inspire you, especially if you just, not sure what you want to play and you just need a great feeling from you've got an hour after work, you want to play. Plug this in. It's pretty loud. I must say that, and I'm playing with the edge setting, so it was a little bit bright there. Maybe I could have toned that down a bit, but I really enjoyed that, and with a Strat it feels really at home. But kudos to Kingtone, because actually this particular pedal of theirs works really well with lots of different guitars, depending on the mood you're in. Now, I've been wondering how I'm going to pick one, and I'd set myself this task today. That is the title of this video after all. My 6 favourite pedals. What if I could only keep one? Well, I mean, I'm keeping all 6 of them. So let's say I can only take one pedal out to a gig, and it needs to do everything I want it to do. I'm probably not going to take the Blues Power or the Broadcast AP or the Protein. They're all phenomenal for what they do, but they're a bit more specific in some ways and don't give me as much of a broad palette to play off. So if I can only have one pedal, I'm not going to take those. So it's down to the Shanks, the Austin Pride, and the Tchula. I've been thinking about this actually for weeks. The Shanks is the best pedal I've got, in my opinion. Just in the sense that it never doesn't do what I need it to do. I can change the settings, and it just always so musical and wonderful to play with. The Austin Pride is, I've got a soft spot for it. It has character that the other pedals don't. Because it's a fuzz pedal, but I use it like an overdrive, it has that incredible zippy, grippy thing. Man, I'm never giving that pedal away. Or, I'm not giving my one away. Maybe I'll give one away. And then the Tchula. What I love about the Tchula is I walk into my studio every day to play, and sometimes I've got half an hour, sometimes I've got 2 or 3 hours to play. And if I don't want to think about pedals, then I use the Tchula, because it is just a perfect sound to me. Absolutely incredible. if I could only take one pedal, I'm not going to take the Tchula, because probably if I'm taking one, I need it to do a few different things for me. So whilst the Tchula is just perfect and I love it, and I play with it every day, and it's my go-to pedal at the moment, it wouldn't give me everything I need. So then it's down to the Austin Pride and the Shanks. Both, Austin Pride is the best fuzz pedal I've ever played, and the Shanks is the best overdrive pedal I've ever played. So that's a real struggle. I think to give me something a bit different from everyone else, I'd go with the Austin Pride. I didn't know I was going to say that, but just thinking about it, the Shanks is incredible because you could use it for so many things, and you could use it to be a session musician, to do covers stuff, to do your own original stuff, to be in a rock band, to be in a blues band, to do whatever you needed. And it just sounds like a perfect rock guitar overdrive. So it doesn't sound like it's not as original. The Austin Pride, on the other hand, just, yeah. I can't talk enough about that pedal. But, you know, I've put all these 6 pedals here, and they're all right up there for me. Along with, if I, you know, this could have been top 10, and I would have included the HorseBreaker next, because it gives me the clone that I don't otherwise have. And then I would have had the Jan Ray, and then I would have had the Rise by Kingtone, and, you know, I could go on and on. But I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's given you an insight into how I think about different pedals and why I might pick one over another. And if you're looking for inspiration to buy a new pedal, any of these 6 you will love. Maybe just work your way down the list, and then you'll end up with all of them like I have. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Subscribe to the channel, enter the giveaway, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.